All right, so today we're diving into a really wild ancient belief. The idea that our entire universe, it isn't some grand divine creation. Nope, it's a cosmic prison. And the only way out, well, that's where secret spiritual knowledge comes in.
So let me just start with a really provocative question, something that these ancient thinkers took incredibly seriously. What if everything you see, everything you touch, what if our whole reality isn't what we think it is? What if it's not some divine masterpiece, but a cosmic error, a glitch in the system, if you will?
Well, that right there is the core idea behind Sethian Gnosticism. It's this absolutely fascinating tradition that we know about thanks to a bunch of texts discovered in a place called Nag Hammadi in Egypt. You see, they believed this material world, it's basically a trap designed to hold the divine spark that's inside each of us. So let's really dig into how they pictured reality.
So, a cosmic error. To really get our heads around this, we have to look at the Gnostic map of reality. And here's the thing. It's not one big, unified creation. Oh no. It's split into two totally opposite domains.
Okay, so on one side, you've got the pleroma. Think of it as the true spiritual home, this incredible realm of pure light and spirit. But then you have our world, and for the Gnostics, our reality is just a distorted, mixed copy, a really flawed imitation cobbled together from chaos and stolen light. So for them, this place we call home, it's not home at all. It's a prison for the soul.
All right, let's meet the Archon jailers. Now, if the universe really is a prison, you gotta ask, who are the guards? Well, the Gnostics had a name for them. They called them the Archons, which literally means rulers. And these aren't just guards, they are the cosmic forces whose entire job is to keep us trapped right here.
And at the very top of this whole prison hierarchy, you have the chief warden, the main architect of it all, a being named Yaldabaoth, sometimes called the Demiurge. Now, he's the one who created our material world, but let's be clear, he is no benevolent, loving God. Not even close.
So the story in these ancient texts goes something like this. Yaldabaoth is basically this arrogant and frankly ignorant creator. They call him a self-willed god because he just refused to follow the divine order. And in this great act of rebellion, he actually stole divine light from a higher spiritual being called Pista Sophia. That means faith wisdom. He then took that stolen energy, mixed it with raw chaos, and used it to build his own little counterfeit kingdom, complete with his own rulers, the Archons.
So where are these jailers? Are they hiding somewhere? Nope. They're all around us, hiding in plain sight. You know the 7 classical planets, the ones ancient astronomers watched so carefully? The Gnostics didn't see them as beautiful celestial bodies. To them, they were the first line of guards, cosmic watchers whose job was to enforce the prison's rules and, dictate our fate.
And what about the 12 signs of the zodiac, for horoscopes and all that? Well, to the Gnostics, this was no harmless fun. This was another layer of cosmic control, a sinister parody of the 12 true divine powers, the aeons that exist up in the pleroma. You could say they literally form the bars of our celestial cage. But wait, there's a really fascinating twist in this whole cosmic drama. It's not all doom and gloom. It turns out one of Yaldabaoth's own sons, an archon named Sebaoth, basically had a crisis of conscience. He had a total change of heart. He looked at what his father had done, condemned it as a huge mistake, and now he acts as a protector for souls who are trying to escape the very system he was born into, a double agent on the side of the light. Okay, let's talk about the 5 seals escape. I mean, with a prison this huge, and with guards this powerful, you have to wonder, how could a soul ever get out? It sounds impossible, right? Well, the Sethians had a plan, a very specific, sacred, multi-stage ritual they called the 5 seals. And here's where things get really interesting, because the whole system is kinda balanced. For every single one of those Archon jailers trying to trap you in this material world, there's a divine guardian, a helper, ready to assist you on your way up. This means the escape isn't a solo mission. You absolutely need that heavenly assistance to make it.
So the absolute key to breaking out is this right, the 5 seals. And we're not talking about a regular baptism, not just getting physically clean. This is a profound spiritual process, a way of being sealed in divine light. The best way to think about it is like you're getting a spiritual passport, one that basically makes you invisible to the Archons at their checkpoints. They just can't see you.
This path of ascent is a really carefully laid out spiritual journey. The texts walk you through it. First, the person trying to escape is glorified. They enter the light.
Then they're literally enthroned by spiritual beings. After that, they are robed in garments made of pure light. Then comes the baptism, the immersion, and finally, the final step, they become glorious again, returning to their true primordial state as a being of light.
And this isn't some automated process. There are specific divine beings who oversee the whole ritual. You've got the baptizers themselves. Their names are Mishisis, Mikshar, and Minasinos, and they're the ones who perform the immersions. Then you have other spirits who provide those robes of light. And the living water itself, that's identified with a pretty major divine figure, Jesus of Nazareth the righteous.
So, a dark Gnostic mirror. The Gnostic goal is pretty clear, right? You dissolve your material self, you escape this prison, and you return to the light. But what if there's another way to look at this? A modern narrative offers a really dark inversion of this entire quest.
Yeah, this modern narrative, from something called the Codex of the Five Worlds, reimagines Gnosticism in a pretty startling way. It introduces this concept called primal ascension, and it basically flips the entire Gnostic quest right on its head. It asks a terrifyingly simple question: why bother escaping the prison when you could become its new ruler?
And here's the crucial difference. You've got the 5 seals on one hand, which is all about a ritual to purify the soul, to help it ascend back to the light. It's a return to purity. But then you have primal ascension. This path uses raw chaos to dissolve your humanity, not to become pure, but to descend into monstrosity, to become a creature of ultimate power.
This really lays out the ultimate difference, doesn't it? The Gnostic goal is to escape the cosmic prison. But the goal in this dark codex is to become the prison's new, monstrous warden. One path is all about seeking freedom from the system. The other is about gaining total tyrannical domination of the system.
And that leaves us with a pretty provocative question to chew on, doesn't it? If you're faced with a flawed, broken, even imprisoning reality, what's the better path? Is it better to escape the prison entirely, or to become its all-powerful master? Is the ultimate goal liberation, or is it control?